Hello there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 238, your weekly little get-together. We talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
David.
Tonight, David, Cyberpunk 2077 gets delayed. Facebook will have your data, regardless if you want to give it to them or not if you want to play Oculus, and Sony has a China problem. But first, before we get into any of that, I want everyone here to know that this is an audience interactive podcast. So if you're watching here live at Twitch TV/GamePoints or later over at YouTube.com/GamePointsPC, please feel free to join in the conversation with whatever questions, comments, concerns, etc. you might have. Just try to keep the topics germane to the conversations currently going on that night. And of course, as always, links will be provided down below, either in the YouTube article or on the Discord server. David.
Yes.
How are those Hades runs treating you?
I have rolled credits.
Okay.
That game has credits. That game is beatable.
So you've finished it enough times to actually see the epilogue and all that stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
Now the game continues and does a really good job of making it make sense to continue. Like, I don't know. That game is just so damn good.
Yeah, it is extremely
Writing's
well
great,
done.
art's great, sounds great. It's real fun.
You're technically farther in it than I am then, because I think I've only actually gotten to beat the final boss 2 or 3 times. But go ahead.
Without being spoilery, beat it 10 times.
I had a feeling it was 10 times. I had a feeling that was the limit, just based on, well, gut reaction. I was looking at going, okay, probably 10 times is what it takes to wrap it all up in a nice, neat little package.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Glad to know those are going well. I know that's been your jam alongside Baldur's Gate 3 the past few weeks. So I just wanted to see how those were progressing. I think you have eclipsed me on Hades at this point.
Probably.
David, let's go ahead and move right into the first story. This happened today. Let's cut right to the chase. Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed for 21 days to December 10th. Announced in a tweet, I will go ahead and read it right here. Hey everyone. Today we've decided to move the release date of Cyberpunk 2077 by 21 days. The new release date is December 10th. Most likely, there are many emotions and questions in your head, so first and foremost, please accept our humble apologies. The biggest challenge for us right now is shipping the game on current gen, next gen, and PC at the same time, which requires us to prepare and test 9 different versions of it. Xbox One, Xbox X, compatibility on the Series SX, PS4, PS4 Pro, compatibility on the PS5, PC, Stadia, while working from home. Since Cyberpunk 2077 evolved towards almost being a next-gen title somewhere along the way, we need to make sure everything works well with every version runs smoothly. We're aware it might seem unrealistic when someone says 21 days can make any difference in such a massive, complex game, but they really do. Some of you might be wondering what these words mean in light of us saying we achieved Gold Master some time ago. Passing certification, or going gold, means that the game is ready, can be completed, and has all the content in it. But it doesn't mean we stop working on it and raising the quality bar. On the contrary, this is a time where many improvements are being made, which will then be distributed via Day Zero patch. This is the time period we undercalculated. We feel we have an amazing game on our hands and are willing to make every decision, even the hardest ones, if ultimately it leads you to getting a video game you'll fall in love with. Yours, Adam Badawaski and Marcin Iwinski. I believe those are the 2 heads of CD Projekt Red. I'm not 100% sure on that. They could be the head designers of the game. I don't know their titles, actually.
Fair.
Initial thoughts, David.
Bummer. But it's not really surprising. It's like vaguely surprising, just because they seemed so set on that November date. They were saying as recently as yesterday, this game will not be delayed again. There was a tweet at them the day before this announcement saying, "Hey guys, I'm about to request time off from work. Can you tell me for sure is this game coming out?" And the problem being the fact that, whoever manages the CD Projekt Red Twitter account is not the actual head of the studio, and it's probably just, a marketing person or a PR person or somebody else who isn't in the know who said, "Yeah, that's the date," because that's the information they had.
The rumor is from people who are talking to anonymous sources inside CD Projekt Red. Of course, anonymous sources, take them with whatever grains of salt you want. Is that no one on the team knew until it was already out on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bother to tell their own team. They kind of announced it all at the same time. Which,
and that's kind of what it feels like.
At first blush, we've talked about how that sucks for a development team that the public knows the second they do. But realistically, there's a couple of real world things that get in the way of that. Of telling the dev team, hey, prepare for this, and then going public. One, this industry is super leaky. If you tell the dev team, hey, it's getting delayed, we're going to have an announcement on Friday, fucking Jason Schreier would know about it Tuesday. So you kind of have to just do it at the same time the public, you notify your team members on that.
But that being said, if the people working on the game are saying we need more time to do this and that, like, it's not that the top-down execs just unilaterally decided, hey, this game needs more time, because they don't fucking know. They have no idea.
Right.
This is all feedback from their dev leads.
And some of the dev leads could have seen the writing on the wall.
Yeah, but so there's people that were probably aware of it because they're the ones that were pushing for it in the first place.
Right.
They just didn't have a guarantee that it was going to get pushed.
Right. They just didn't officially know until everyone knew.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the nature of the thing. That's just how it has to be these days, because when you're dealing with a game this big, letting your shareholders know, hey, we are not making Black Friday, means your stock takes a hit. That's just the long and the short of it. So I get why. David, there aren't too many games. I want to talk about this going gold thing. There's a couple things I want to talk about this before I get into it. One is this concept of going gold. Now, they kind of fall back on defining exactly what going gold means, and they define it as meaning the game is ready, can be completed, and has all content in it. Is that what you always assumed going gold means, or did you always assume that it meant this thing is actually being sent to the factory to be pumped out right now?
So I think going gold at some point changed in meaning, because if I heard going gold in like the early 2000s or the 90s, that meant that the game was literally ready to be printed onto discs and shipped to, GameStops and Best Buys and everything.
Yeah, so that's why I always thought
going gold it's the master copy of the game that they use to physically put it on the media.
Yeah, no more fucking around. This is the final copy.
And that's what I want to say was what going gold meant for a very long time. At some point that changed, and this is the finalized version of the game, but we can still work on day 1 and day 0 patches because every game has patches now.
At this point, I think we need to unilaterally retire the phrase going gold, because it does not mean anything anymore.
It doesn't mean anything.
No. What it means is, here's this announcement that we're going to give to get an extra bit of press out of the articles that are going to be written on it 3 weeks before launch. That's all going gold is the PR blast of, hey, we're 3 weeks away from launch.
We'll just start calling it milestoned.
Yeah,
it means they hit their major pillars. That's what going gold means.
This phrase has now been, admittedly because of this one game, rendered completely useless. Because it's such a big game, when something like this happens, this is bad. Do you think delaying it's a bad thing or a good thing, or what? Do you think that 3 weeks is going to be enough time? This is the 4th time this game has been delayed. Remember, it was supposed to be out almost a year ago. Then got delayed
This was one of the scary end of February releases back when February 27th or whatever was the scariest day in gaming, and then not a single one of the games that were announced.
And we all knew there was no way in hell this game was launching on that day either. I think both you and I said there's no way in hell that game doesn't launch until the end of this year.
Yep.
And then sure enough, it gets delayed to, I want to say originally October, and then September, one of the two.
Somewhere.
Then it got delayed till November. Now it's delayed until December.
It's hard to say, right?
Are you with me on the stance of companies need to stop giving out hard release dates until they are 100% certain they can meet it? Or are you really fine with things getting put back?
Like, I don't overly mind games getting delayed because I'm not big on like pre-orders and putting all my eggs in one game's basket. But it is kind of a bummer when a game gets delayed multiple times. If they had said, in February, hey, fuck it, we need a year, then I'd be like, oh, well, okay, you guys need time, do it. But no, we need 6 months. And then, oh, we need another month and a half. Oh, we need another 21 days.
That's where I hate the dating of games at this point, unless you're 100% sure you can hit it. I walk such a fine line on this. I do not mind games getting delayed. If Cyberpunk is delayed, okay, fine. Fuck it. I'd rather you fix what the problem is than release it and have it be shit on that first day and require us to wait 3 weeks for you to fix it. But stop giving me exact dates when a nebulous coming winter 2020 would have done just fine.
Yep.
I am far less bitter.
And they could have just been like, hey guys, this game comes out in 2 weeks.
Yes, or a month.
Yeah.
You could say it's a month. That's fine.
When it was done.
I get that there is some marketing that has to happen to hype up pre-orders and drive sales and to get people excited for it. But god damn it, it gets to a point where it's like a contractor, right? You hire a contractor and they say, we'll have it done on July 21st. And they go, well, it's August 5th. Well, now it's August 31st. Now it's September 28th. It's like after a while, it starts to grate on you quite a bit.
Or if they just said, hey, you know what? This is huge. We need 3 months.
Yeah. Do you see where the difference is? And that's what more and more game studios need to start doing. They need to start doing the thing where they say, hey.
But I feel like we are a bit more easygoing with this, and that there's a whole other group of people that will hear a 3-month delay and get pissed. But a 2-week delay, they don't get as mad.
As always, we take the milquetoast middle road because you have one side of the argument that's just like, fuck you, you delayed it a week, I'm going to dox your entire family. And then you have the other side that just kind of sits back and goes, whatever, man, it'll come out when it comes out, Star Citizen, man. It's going to be great when Star Citizen comes out, man. There is a middle road where you can hold a company accountable for fucking around a release date while simultaneously go, hey, all you have to do is just change this one little thing and it will be a little bit better received. Mm-hmm. What do you think this does for the crunch issue that was happening at CD Projekt Red? Because we were talking about
their working condition has not improved at all.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's actually gotten worse?
The reason they're confident they can get it done in 21 days is because in man hours, this is probably like 8 months worth of work.
So you don't think that this is going to alleviate their schedule at all? You think it's just going to be another 3 weeks of crunch tacked on to everything else?
100%.
Okay.
No doubt in my mind.
From what I understand from various other leak sources as well, I haven't seen like the official article on it yet, but I'm sure it'll come out tomorrow. There are a lot of anonymous employees at CD Projekt Red who are quite upset at knowing that they're going to have to work another 3 days of anywhere between 60 to 100 hours a week.
Yeah, that's rough.
One final bit I do want to mention on this specific thing, because the news itself is very simple, right? Game's been delayed. Mm-hmm. But I like getting into the nitty-gritty of some of this stuff. Let's talk about this whole 9 versions of it thing. 9 versions of it. I believe Poland is one of the European countries that actually does mandate complete lockdowns on things like this. So this is all happening from home when it comes to development on it. So that's definitely fucking things around with this too. Do you think that Cyberpunk show said fuck it and released it only on next gen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see, I'm in that same boat too. I think that
it's the same argument with Halo.
What part of this?
It's that whole talk of they're making a last gen game, and it's going to get an upscale. And it doesn't matter how you spin it, how you word it, how you try to describe it to me. No matter what you do, you are delivering a last gen game.
Yes.
For the new console cycle.
Absolutely. Both you and I are old enough to know the song and dance they do here when we see better on the next gen console and you play it and it's like, not really. Maybe a little bit faster load time, but it still really looks like a last gen thing. And I'm not bashing the graphics Cyberpunk. The game hasn't even come out yet, so we couldn't see it. What part of this 9 various versions of it do you think is holding things up? Do you think it's the next gen stuff? Do you think it's the past gen stuff? Or do you think it's something specific? Like specifically, say, Xbox One or specifically PlayStation 4 Pro?
I'd say launch PS4.
You say it's the original launch PS4. So you think it is them trying to adapt this to an older generation? That's the problem.
Well, it just depends because they've been working on it on that gen the entire time. So maybe it is good for that, and they are just trying to add some polish so the next gen games do look a little better. I've got no fucking idea. I'm not in there. But if they built it in a like, let's target the One X, for example, as our benchmark, and like PC and One X as our goal, and then we're gonna make it work on PS4, and we're gonna make it work on everything else, then I could see the holdout being the original. I'm honestly just thinking the hard drive on the original PS4.
Yeah, I am along the same mentality as you are. I think they said this evolved to almost being a next gen title somewhere around the way. What I think they did is like, oh, we can really push this hard, make it sing on the PlayStation 5 or the Series S and X. And it cost them some problems of older PlayStation 4s or older Xbox Ones. I do think it's trying to make it compatible with the older generations. That's the problem. However, I would be willing to believe it's the newer ones too, because they didn't get those dev kits until a few months ago.
Right,
pretty late. Most a year ago for a game that's been in development for years.
But I'm less inclined to think that the new consoles are the ones that are driving all the issues, because of the fact that the new consoles are basically just PCs, right?
True.
It's that's been the case for a little while.
Like, now. if you were to put a gun to my head, I would say it's the old consoles holding this up.
They're just an AMD PC with some fancy proprietary stuff in them.
Yeah, that is almost exactly what they are. Sorry, I had a cough there and I just got dead silent. I was looking for the mute and I could not find it fast enough. I really want to talk with a dev, and once all this is over, because I get why they can't say, "Oh yeah, the Xbox One's fucking up." They can't say that. They have contracts in place. They have contracts in place that prevent them from doing that. But man, do I want to be a fly on the wall and see Project Drive right now and know exactly what the issue is. Because while they're saying test 9 versions of it, I'm willing to bet it's just one specific version of it they're having issues with. And they have to get it out or else they're screwed. Anyways, let us know what you guys think of the CD Projekt Red's delaying of Cyberpunk 2077 down below. I want to know if you think this is a good thing, if you're tired of them giving dates and missing it. One thing that we can all agree on, though, don't fucking threaten the developers or anything stupid like that. Don't be an ass about it. You can be upset. You can be angry at it. I get it. People actually do plan days and time. As we saw previously, that one guy's like, hey, I'm putting in time off. Is this going to be fine? He looks like an asshole now for having to go back and change that. So I get people make plans around this stuff. Just don't be a total fucking asshole about it.
Right.
One thing I want to mention, too, before we move on to the next one, is that there aren't many games that have gone gold and then get delayed. There's only 4 of them that I could think of on the top of my head, and that was Army of Two, NBA Elite 2011, and that game didn't even actually come out. It went gold, went to the reviewers, people reviewed it, and then like a week before it's supposed to launch, got canceled.
That's weird.
There are copies. I want a copy of NBA Elite 11, by the way, because of that, because it was a full game that never released. And then you also have Godfather 2, which apparently went gold and that canceled. And then, of course, the most recent of all these examples, Crucible, which was released, then got pulled into beta, then got canceled.
Oof. But here's the funny thing is, like, Crucible was an online, like, I don't know, multiplayer game that I don't think we ever heard the term that Crucible had gone gold, right? Because it's not that kind of video game.
That's where we don't know exactly what the definition of gone gold means anymore, and we need to retire.
Because Crucible was, like, out and then went back into early access and then got canceled.
In my mind,
if it was released, then obviously it had to have gone gold at some point. But again, it just makes me think that it's an archaic term that specifically referenced things being printed.
In my mind, gone gold always meant here is version 1.0. Not 0.298, not 1.01, but specifically 1.0, the master copy. Anyways, that's also a term that needs to get delayed. David, why don't you go ahead and take on this one, because you are the VR expert between the two of us.
I mean, I don't know how true that is, but yeah, let's go for it.
You have more time in PC VR than I do.
That's fair. This story is from Upload VR. Headline: deleting Facebook, you'll lose linked Oculus Store purchases. Adding to the further woes, that is the Oculus Quest 2 and its linked Facebook account. If you've linked your Oculus account to Facebook and decide you want to delete said Facebook account, your purchases on Oculus will be lost as well. Upload VR have confirmed directly with Facebook that if you're owner of the original Quest, Rift, or Rift S, aren't getting another Oculus headset and have held out from linking your accounts for this long, you could still delete your unlinked Facebook account for now, and your Oculus Store purchases would be unaffected. starting in 2023, Facebook will no longer support Oculus accounts, and details are still unknown about how exactly that will work.
First thoughts on this already, David. I can tell you right now, this is this is one of those things I don't think we'll be able to hold up in a court.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Especially with the legacy stuff, because if you bought something on a license and then they go, well, you no longer have access to that stuff, that might open up a can of worms. And we've already seen courts throw out EULAs. Not always, but some courts go, you can't, there's no reasonable expectation that a customer can read all this, get fucked.
I'm stupid about this, but I'm assuming the Quest 2 is also out in the UK.
Yeah, I'd assume so. UK has very stringent consumer protection laws.
If there's going to be any hope to get this just shut the fuck up, it's going to be from them, because the US has never given a shit about fixing things. So no. It's like all on their court to see if we can actually get Facebook the hell off of the Quest.
But yeah, the EU in general has and Australia have very stringent consumer protection laws, for better and worse. And this would be one of those cases where before the better's going, no. They bought that. They don't have to sign up to shit. You will see. My gut tells me, and this is going to be affecting the old ones, my gut tells me that when 2023 comes around and Facebook no longer supports Oculus accounts, you'll still be able to access your games. It's like when a game gets pulled off of Steam. If you bought it, you can still download it and play it for the most part.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can think of, with rare exception, when that's the case. I get the feeling it'd be something like that, where they are legally forced to maintain those servers on it. But if they force those users to switch to Facebook, that might be asking for a lawsuit or two. We'll see. I think
it's so wacky to force somebody to join a social media site and force them to use their real information in order to, like, use a product. Like, it's so weird.
The thing that I don't think, while the Oculus Quest, yes, can force you to join Facebook, the thing that I don't think would be able to hold up under any kind of legal scrutiny, 100%, I'm not a lawyer. I could be completely stone cold fucking wrong on this. I am just basing this on previous knowledge I've seen on things like this in the past, is that if you delete your Facebook, then they just don't have access to your games anymore. Not only access to your games, but they delete those, the history of you even buying them. And if you recreate another Facebook, you have to rebuy on them again. That, I think, won't hold up.
Right.
But I can't say for certain. Do you have any thoughts you want to add on this? I put this story in here mainly just as another warning to warn people off of buying the Quest.
Yeah, it just sucks because the Quest could be like the best VR experience, right? It's the cheapest. You can use it standalone. The Quest, I'm assuming the Quest 2 can also do this, but I know the Quest has like a link cable, so you can still plug it into your PC and play higher powered games as opposed to just the standalone ones. Like, this is what we need for VR to be successful. I just desperately wish that Facebook had not gotten so fucking greedy about it.
There is another VR headset that I'm hearing grumbling about, and I saw this today, but I didn't bother to add the link on here because I don't know the veracity of this claim. And I want to give it a couple more weeks for things to fill out. It seems to be like one of those shady kind of upcoming VR things. I want more reliable information on it. But I've heard that there is a new Valve headset coming called something. I don't remember its name. But it's supposed to be for $500 and wireless.
Interesting.
But it's supposed to combine kind of like the Index with... What was the other VR headset that Valve released? Did they release another headset? Or maybe they said... Oh, no, I'm sorry. They said it's going to be a cross between the Index and the Quest, where it's wireless. You're not going to get the full functionality of the Index, but it will have like the Index hand triggers, so you can like manipulate every finger.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to have like cameras built into it rather than you setting cameras around your place. And then you have to wear like something around your head.
I think HP was supposed to make a VR headset partnered with Valve, but I don't know if that actually
that could be. I didn't, like I said, this was not what I would consider 100% reliable information when I first read it, so I kind of looked at it and went, okay, cool, whatever, and then filed it away in a part of my brain to look back at later, so I don't know the full details on it.
That's fair.
But I did hear something about that getting announced sometime in March. It'll be like a Valve Quest almost.
One thing I do want to mention, though, since we are just slamming the Quest quite a bit, is that there is potentially hope. If you poke around enough, and you look in the right places, there are rumblings that the Quest 2, in all of the internet's glory, has been jailbroken.
I guarantee you it has. That is something to consider, is that it is one of the cheapest PC headsets right now. It is wireless, and all it takes is someone intrepid enough to get past all that software, rip it all out, and put their own stuff in it.
Yep. And if that's the case, and you could just say, sorry, Facebook, and just install something else, and just like completely bypass a Facebook account, then all of a sudden the Quest 2 pops right back to the top of my list. So...
Yeah. At that point, though, you're also talking about such a small segment of the population willing to do that.
Yeah, that's true, because you're, voiding warranties and you're doing this and that and the other thing. But, obviously use your own risk, and I'm not advocating that anybody do anything like that to your hardware that you spent your money on. That's ridiculous. We would never endorse such a thing.
No.
But I'm just saying, pay attention.
So, yeah, if you have an Oculus Quest, by the way, or the Quest 2, I should say, and you have
the Quest is still unaffected by this. The Quest, you can still delete a Facebook account and not care.
Let us know how intrusive the Facebook shit is on this thing, because I really do want to know, because I have yet to actually speak to anyone who actually owns one. Someone who comes by the chat a lot has one, but I haven't really grilled him on it yet.
Gotcha.
But I want to know how obscene the data collection is on this. Can you get away with just your name? Or do you have to type in your name and your phone number and your address? Or like what all does it want?
Right.
Because if it just wants it, they have to verify.
But I'm also thinking how many people had like banned Facebook accounts that just bought a paperwork, and it was probably, or a paperweight, probably because they were making fake Facebook accounts, and they probably have some kind of verification that they require, right?
That is a problem.
Because that would be my very first thought would be is like, okay, yeah, I'm like John Johnson or whatever, and I live at 123 Fake Street, and this is my Facebook account.
Yeah, I want a Facebook account, but I want my name attached to it. I just want something I can talk to my friends. They know that I'm Bob McFeelgood.
Yeah.
Furthermore, something to consider about too, Facebook's, I don't want to get too down this rabbit hole, but Facebook has been on like a purging spree of someone, if you say something slightly like objectionable to Facebook's censor team, they'll nuke your channel, right? They'll nuke your page right away. Are you fucked from playing the Oculus Quest now too, because they banned you off Facebook?
Probably. Anyway, fuck that whole group of people. I don't really give a shit.
I do not trust Facebook for anything. We'll see. Speaking of things that I don't trust, let's talk about communist China, David.
Okay.
I got real heated when I saw this, so I've calmed down significantly, but I'm glad that it's been a couple days, because I could easily spend 40 minutes talking about this on this one little tiny thing. This is via TechRaptor. PlayStation Terms of Service for Hong Kong clarifies protection for the CCP. To the article. Hong Kong PlayStation users are being asked to accept new terms of service after a recent update. The terms are the same as those of mainland Chinese users must accept and include in provisions and caveats designed to protect Chinese interests. The new terms of service instruct PlayStation Network users to not, quote, oppose the basic principles, end quote, espoused by the Chinese Constitution, which is an oxymoron, by the way. On other terms include not violating the PRC's policies on religion, social stability, or the sovereignty and unification of China, among other things. These are terms that mainland Chinese users have had to accept for some time now, but Hong Kong users have traditionally been exempt. It looks like the Chinese government's cracking down on services that used to treat Hong Kong as a separate entity. Now, David, you and I both have roughly the same stance on this, I think.
Yeah, more or less.
We both feel that companies need to fucking stop doing this. Fuck any company that does things like this.
But in this specific case, I don't know that you can be super pissed at Sony, because video game consoles legitimately didn't even exist in China until this generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're all just being manufactured in China, and everything is being subsidized in China. So I don't know if, Sony America or Sony Japan are, building PlayStation units and coding an update that says these guys have to sign this ToS, so much as it is the, local on the ground Chinese guys that are handling that side.
It is important to know that this ToS does not apply to anywhere outside of Hong Kong. Hong Kong specifically, if you have a PlayStation from there, is being handed this ToS.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is, again, just on the PlayStation Network. So if you're not signed into the PlayStation Network, you can still just use your system like normal.
This is one of those things where
It gets weird.
We need to collectively start making companies feel the pressure about this Chinese oppression shit.
Yeah, and that's a great idea, except for the fact that the Chinese market spends so much more money than everywhere else that they don't care.
That's why more and more people that's why this is a minor story. This is a very tiny story. But I'm going to bring up every single one of these I find because more and more people need to start raising this. Think about this, because this at the end of, yes, the Chinese market brings a lot of money, but if you get enough people pissed off of the rest of the world about it, they will start pushing back against this. That is, or at the very least, start taking away the power that the Chinese government has over things like this. In the case of some companies moving from China to, say, India.
Yeah.
And I will always call this shit out when I see it. I know that I am just, both of us, we maybe have a small handful of people that watch this every week. Thank you for those that do. But that's how this shit gets spread around, is that it just takes a few people talking about it, and then someone else might see it and share it, and so on and so forth. We need to call out this crap whenever we see it. So when Blizzard does it, which is far more egregious, the Blizzard shit was far more egregious than this, where they actually just banned anyone from talking about it. When Genshin Impact bans the words Hong Kong and Taiwan from their chat program, this shit must be called out every single time. And fuck Sony for capitulating to a government that literally puts peoples in camps to harvest their organs. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is fact. Fuck Sony for this. And yes, I'm probably still playing PlayStation 5. Because you can call a company out on their bad practices while still buying things you like from that company. You don't have to go 100%.
I mean, if you didn't still buy things from companies that do stuff you don't like, you would never be able to buy anything.
Yeah, exactly. David, like I said, I think we both kind of have the same stance on this. At the end, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Not really. It's just a bummer.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same thing. I want to get like in a righteous foaming anger about it, but I don't think I really can at this point. I'll point it out. I'll call it out. But what more can I say about this shit that I haven't said about any company over the past 2 years that seems to be getting more and more friendly with the People's Republic of China?
I guess we can just sign off with fuck Blizzard.
Yeah, fuck Blizzard, fuck the NBA, fuck Nike, fuck et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and take this one?
You want to talk about something completely different?
Yeah. We're going to go into some smaller stuff here.
A first for Fire Emblem fans, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And yes, this is the original Fire Emblem that came out in Japan in 1990. This is retro. This is hey guys.
Old.
This is where Martha's from, like the first time. This game looks old.
This is not Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, by the way. That was a remake on the DS. This is the original Super Nintendo one that's just been translated. So go them.
A couple new features. It's got a rewind function, so you can go back a turn. It's got a fast forward through player and enemy actions. You can create and load bookmarks in the game, so it's got like more save states and stuff like that. A couple of neat new things. The box looks great, by the way. It has a totally retro NES box.
It's going to be digital, I think, for like $5.99, but you can spend $50 and get the big collector's edition with a physical Nintendo box and all kinds of cool stuff along with it.
Launches December 4th, which is pretty cool. And then we get to the Nintendo of it all, that this is, once again, a limited time only release. Only available until the franchise's 30th anniversary on March 31st, 2021. Much like another big franchise from Nintendo that had a game come out recently that's also available for a limited time. What the fuck are they doing? Is this just the new norm now?
I hate it.
Just how we have to deal with
I
Nintendo?
am terrified this is going to be the new norm. I think
we're just going to release a game and you can only get it for 3 months and then it's gone forever because we just really sincerely hate you. We're Nintendo and we deserve your money.
Vault thing. That's what they're testing here. They're trying to test the Disney Vault strategy, and it will fucking work because it's fucking Nintendo.
I'm mad because I remember when we were like talking shit on the Switch before it came out because we weren't confident in Nintendo or their goodwill. Then the Switch was really cool, and so Nintendo got all this love because then they can literally do no wrong in the eyes of the fans. But they're actively constantly doing wrong, and it really fucking pisses me off.
I'm gonna get a little bit more hateful on this thing.
It's the same thing they did with the NES Classic, the same thing they did with the Super Nintendo Classic. Those were just the very first like toes in the water of this bullshit fucking strategy.
Even more egregious because it's all digital content. It's not like they have to keep producing new stuff. I'm gonna get a little bit more hateful on this. While I'm fine with their collector's edition of this being $50, because you get a lot of tchotchkes in there. It's like a copy of an old Nintendo Power with Fire Emblem on there, and they'll get the case and some artwork and etc. The fact that the digital version of this is $5.99 and not just fucking included in the Nintendo Super Nintendo Switch Online thing, you know, their virtual console, whatever they call it now. That's what this is. There's nothing new being added to this game that isn't already on the Nintendo Virtual Console shit to begin with. I know it's not called Virtual Console. It's called like Super Nintendo Online.
Who cares? We don't care. It's the freaking Virtual Console. They can call it whatever the fuck they want.
Those games have these features added into it.
And they have added, what, like fucking 6 games since they added the Virtual Console to the Switch?
Yeah, save states, rewind it, all the special features this has are in there, other than the translation. But fuck, this should be I don't want to say for free, because you pay a $20 a year for it.
Part of your subscription for
this
Nintendo
should be
Online.
Part of their subscription, exactly. And it's not. Yeah. If you want to spend $50 on the collector's edition, fine. That collector's edition looks pretty boss. If I was a bigger Fire Emblem fan, I'd be all over it, because it does have a lot of cool shit in there. I'm just done with collector's editions. But charging me something that you have been giving to me for free all of a sudden that's a fucked up move. And I like Fire Emblem. I don't love Fire Emblem, but I do like it. I want to play this. I'm probably not going to get this specifically, but there is nothing being added to the actual game itself that is not already added on the shit they give you for free or for your subscription. I keep wanting to say free because they fucking trained me to say free. It's not free. It's part of your $20 a year subscription. Mm-hmm. That pisses me off. I was all for this at first, but I started thinking about it. And when I saw what they're adding to it, because I thought maybe at first it was going to be like a high-def version of it. No, it's not.
See, now, the fact that you were even excited at all is different than my original take. Was old game is old. I don't give two shits about them finally coming out with this game and then trying to charge $50 for a collector's edition. Because that's the price I saw first, which is what I assumed the game was digitally. Okay. It's like, is this really going to be like a $40 release of a fucking 30-year-old video game?
No, this isn't like the, what was it, the Darius collection or whatever it was.
Dude, the Darius collection that came out that was $40? Go fuck yourself, guys. Come on.
No, the actually, I want to say it was $5.99. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say it was $5.99 just for the game itself, digitally coming out December 4th, so sometime in December. I was about to say 2 weeks from now, but it's way more than 2 weeks now because my brain thinks it's already the end of November because time has no meaning as everything's locked down. But like I said, I started thinking about it. It's like, no, there's nothing different here that should be given free. Anyways, that's my rant about Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light. David, I think you're just
it is $6. I was able to confirm.
Okay,
$5.99.
You're just completely disinterested in it. For me, for a second, I was thinking of buying it, and that's when I started thinking, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Well, there's just enough for me against it that I'm not interested. Yeah, but I would never play the original Fire Emblem. Let's be real.
I would. But I like strategies.
Now, actually, what's funny is if this was included with your online subscription, and it was something that was just added to my Switch at some point, like, hey, it's in my library all of a sudden, I might actually give it a shot and say, hey, this is like retro history. This seems interesting to me. But I wouldn't go out of my way to spend extra money on it.
I think you said it best when you said there was.
But I'm not a Fire Emblem guy. So.
Yeah, you said there was just enough to keep you from being interested in it. It reminds me a lot of when Doom 1 and 2 came to the Switch. And I was like, damn, that sounds awesome. And then Bethesda was forcing you to make a Bethesda.com, .net account. And I immediately went, nope, fuck that, not into it. And then they took that out, and then I immediately bought them.
It's funny.
We have some quick hits here, David. One, Darkest Dungeon 2 is coming to early access sometime in 2021 with an amazing little trailer there, only on the Epic Store for the moment.
Cool. Make your money, boys.
What I would expect this to roll out with is the typical Epic thing where it's on there either for a year, then comes out to Steam, or until the duration of early access, then comes to Steam.
Yep.
Neither you nor I give one fuck about the Epic Store problems. I get why some people hate it. It is a principled stance if you want to take it. I just don't care because everything has your data anyways.
Do you know how many free games I have on the Epic Store?
Yeah, same here.
Without ever even having to load any like credit card information or do anything other than use the throwaway email address? Come on. This is great.
David, The Verge showed us Tom Holland's Nathan Drake pick from the upcoming Uncharted movie that's been in development for like 12 years now. So long that the original star that was going to be Nathan Drake is now playing Sully.
Is that actually confirmed?
Yes, I believe so.
Sweet.
I believe that Mark Wahlberg, who is now Sully, was originally scheduled to play Nathan Drake. Or was in talks to, one or the other.
I always thought it was going to be Nathan Fillion.
Remember, too, though, when the Uncharted movie was first being tossed around, it was supposed to have Al Pacino and Joe Pesci as antiquities dealers fighting the mob. So I'm glad that got nuked. Did you see the photo? You can look it up on his Instagram or on the account for The Verge, which I'll link down below.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What do you think? He just looks too...
It just looks like Tom Holland.
I know that this is supposed to be a prequel, but he looks way too baby-faced.
He does. But he just looks like Tom Holland. Like, yeah. Honestly, his facial features, I think, don't line up with Drake's well enough.
Same here.
They should have just cast somebody that I don't know.
From the neck down, he looks like it.
Yeah, but because the costume department is good at costumes.
I still expect a young 20-something Nathan Drake to look fucked up 100% of the time. And I don't mean drunk. I just mean like he's gotten out of a fight. Because that's Nathan Drake to me. A man who perpetually looks like he just got his ass beat, but yet won. And there's none of that going off Tom Holland. The Uncharted movie, by the way, set to hit theaters July 16th, 2021. I'd bet good money it does not make that date.
Oh, yeah, there's no way. I think my favorite little tidbit, though, is that apparently Nolan North is trying to get in it as an extra that's killed by Nathan.
As he should be.
Which, that's great. For those that don't know, Nolan North is the voice actor for Drake in the video games.
I would also recommend you look up the Uncharted fan film that Nathan Fillion did with... oh, God, who's the guy that played Sully in that?
Don't remember.
Steven... he was the bad guy in Avatar. Fuck.
Stephen Lang?
Stephen Lang, yeah.
Oh, man. Stephen Lang's great.
Take a look at that. That's by far the best live action adaptation of Uncharted. I'll put that against the movie into the week. And then while we're on the topic of TV shit, Assassin's Creed live action Netflix series in development via Variety. An Assassin's Creed live action series is currently in development at Netflix, Variety has learned. The series is part of a deal between Netflix and the video game company Ubisoft to develop content based on the best-selling video game franchise. A deal will include live-action, animated, and anime series. The search is currently on for a showrunner for the series, with Ubisoft Film and Television's Jason Altman and Danielle Krennic to serve as executive producers. David, the fact that they don't even have a showrunner for this yet means that at best this is 3 years away.
Yeah, but what's interesting to me is that it's a multi-part deal with Netflix to have a live-action, animated, and anime series based on Assassin's Creed, and I think to me that is a cool idea because Assassin's Creed obviously jumps around to different timelines and it goes through all this stuff. And I think it could be really fun that they could actually completely change formats for different eras.
I think as like an anime/animated series, I think that could actually really be cool.
Yeah.
Because you could do one episode in like feudal Japan, and then here's another one in like 1600s puritanical America.
With completely different art styles?
Yeah.
I would watch the hell out of that.
That could be cool because Assassin's Creed has always been a game series that I like playing them for the most part. They kind of sucked around the Unity Syndicate time, and I do like their reboots as well. But I have never really loved it as a franchise, yet part of me wants to. Because I'm such
because there's like the weird sci-fi-ness of it all that they have like gone out of their way to ignore more and more as the games go on, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah. I'm such a history nerd, and I'm such a science fiction nerd, and I love alternate history. This game has so much shit that seems like it'd be great, and I love stealth games. Everything about this on paper sounds like I should be way more into this franchise than I am, but it's just never has been executed in any way that I have enjoyed. Like, The plot-wise.
They're all solid video games.
And they keep trying to branch it out into other media. Remember the Michael Fassbender movie that was a few years back?
Nope, didn't watch it.
Good, no one did either.
Forgot it even came out, like, actually.
But I always give them a chance. And like you said, you mentioned it with the anime thing where they can jump around time. I think that might finally be something that they can do a good Assassin's Creed style with. Give it to the fucking Castlevania guys who also released, what was it? The Blood of Zeus anime that just came out on Netflix. Give it to that
is that
team.
the same guy?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw the trailer for that and I was like, this looks like it might be good, but why does it look like it might be good? That's funny.
Same animation studio.
Cool.
Back to the article. This is not the first project Ubisoft has announced on Netflix in recent months. In July, Variety exclusive reported that the companies have partnered on a Splinter Cell anime series, hailing from John Wick writer Derek Kolstad. Ubisoft and Netflix are also currently working on a film for The Division, starring Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal, two people I can't stand, while the streamer has aired 4 seasons of the Ubisoft animated series Rabbids Invasion. Elsewhere, Ubisoft also produces live-action Apple series Mythic Quest. Mythic Quest being essentially 1/4 of Always Sunny in Philadelphia and not that good.
Okay. Never heard of Rabbids Invasion.
Yeah, it says aired 4 seasons of the anime series Rabbids Invasion. It's the first time I knew that even existed.
Right?
The Splinter
it's in France.
Oh, is it French only? Is that what it is?
It's in French and American, or French and English, rather.
No, you said it right.
I think, fuck you. I think it came out in France.
That makes sense. David?
Yes.
That Splinter Cell anime sounds like a disaster to me because, let's face it, Ubisoft doesn't care about Splinter Cell anymore. If they did, they would have given me something by now. But they keep fucking dancing around it rather than just pulling the trigger on it. But I'm not going to know exactly how much of a train wreck it is until much later down the road. If I want to be entertained between now and when my heart breaks, what can I do to keep myself occupied?
Well, it sounds like you need some new video games.
Yes.
Coming out this week in new releases, we have Dungreed. I believe is how you say that. PS4 and Switch. This is a pixel graphic action roguelike 2D side-scrolling game. It's got roguelite elements, sorry to clarify. So that's the one where if you die, you don't start completely over. You keep some amount of resource from the previous run, right? That's the key difference between a roguelite and a roguelike, if you're not aware. Become an adventurer exploring a continuously evolving dungeon to prevent the town from being destroyed. Eliminate enemies, use a variety of weapons and magic, eat food, defeat evil. And I like roguelike games and roguelite games, but it's hard for me to be excited about any of them because Hades is just so flipping good. So,
it really is. Hades is
Dungreed.
very, very good. Definite Game of the Year runner, I should say.
Out this week, a sequel to a franchise that I feel I'm constantly talking about is being released. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 comes out for PS4 this week. I'm pretty sure the third one came out like 2 weeks ago. The second one came out a week before that. Like, I feel like these games are constantly coming out. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm just crazy. This is the giant robot version of the Legend of Heroes games. So there's quite a few different series in the Legend of Heroes universe. Trails of Cold Steel is, again, it's a JRPG. It's kind of anime inspired. It's got some big robots in it, and it is the finale to that series. I
kind of want to play this series one day. They came out in Japan a few years back. We're getting all their translations now. They usually takes them like 2 years for them to localize and get over here. I have heard good things about from the Trials of Cold Steel series, specifically that part of the Legend of Heroes franchise. I haven't heard like great, amazing things from it, but they're like, yeah, it is a passable JRPG. And you know what I haven't played in a long time is just a JRPG. The last one I played was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was it's been a while. I think over a year. That's the last time I actually played a meaty JRPG. So I kind of want to play these.
Well, I think now that the fourth one is out, what you should do is just wait until they have the super compilation, Trails of Cold Steel Deluxe, and it has all 4 games.
And from what I understand, these are all direct sequels to each other. It's not like the JRPG thing where they bounce back and forth between different worlds and different characters. Think Final Fantasy.
See, that's the cool thing that the Legend of Heroes franchise does is that they have different, I guess, subtitles for when they jump around, because they do have several different like Legend of Heroes universe-ish games, but they're totally different and it's based on the subtitle.
Yeah, there's like Trials of the Sky or something like that, and Trials of insert whatever here. But I like the idea that it's a continuous storyline specific for Cold Steel, and I've heard good things about Cold Steel. I'm gonna have to give this one a look eventually.
I just remember when Legend of Heroes was like a PSP game. Like that was my first foray.
There were PSP Legend of Heroes games.
Yep. Also out this week, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It's Xbox One. This obviously already came out on Switch. We talked about it a few weeks ago. So it is that same remake of that Pod Racer video game that came out on N64 so many years ago.
This one was delayed. I remember they were all supposed to launch on the same date, and then the Xbox One got delayed for some reason.
Maybe Xbox is what's holding up.
Maybe that's what's holding up Cyberpunk. Fucking Microsoft.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer confirms it. Also out this week, Carto hits PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is a cartoony-looking puzzle adventure RPG. Adventure game wrapped in a unique world-altering puzzle mechanic. So this actually does look kind of neat. You're playing as this character, Carto, on a journey back to your family. And you kind of do this like pop out of the map thing. And it's like those old puzzles where you're moving the blocks around. You know, like trying to make a picture. But you can actually move the piece that you're on and connect it to a different part of the map. And all of a sudden you're in a new area.
Part of me wants to play this. I'm just like, if I was in the mood for a puzzle game, I'd be all over this.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Ghost Runner hits this week for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is that cyberpunk first-person samurai slashy game that looks pretty damn fun. A unique single-player experience, fast-paced, violent combat, and original setting that blends science fiction with post-apocalyptic themes. Man, that's never heard that before. Tells the story of a world that has already ended and its inhabitants who fight to survive.
Is it wrong that I'm already tired of the cyberpunk genre and the fucking game that they're all aping hasn't even come out yet?
It is like really the year of the cyberpunk game. It really is.
They're all trying to cash in on Cyberpunk 2077, and I am just fucking tired of the aesthetic already.
It's a bummer because Cyberpunk is a really cool thing that got no love for the longest time, and then we've just had like a million different games in that genre out this year alone, or like the last 18 months. It's been really heavy.
Yeah.
This game at least looks cool. Cooler than some of the other ones.
You know what is a travesty, however, is that Harebrained Schemes didn't also cash in and make another Shadowrun game.
Yeah, what the hell? Come on, guys.
Like
Shadowrun?
The market is ripe for it right now. Where's my fourth Shadowrun game?
Shadowrun Returns again.
It was Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun it was like Hong Kong or something like that. And they had one at Dragonfall, the Berlin one.
Yeah, I just want Returns again.
I want a fourth one. Give me a fourth one.
Also this week, Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga continues. PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. If you're not aware of the fact that they had a sequel to the Karate Kid come out on YouTube and it's now on Netflix, you are now. This is a two-player side-scrolling beat-em-up in universe set in kind of the old Double Dragon style. Doesn't have that graphic style, but it's that's what you're doing. Has couch co-op play. You can swap between any of the 8 characters as you play, and there's 2 different factions. One on the side of Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai, the other on the side of Daniel LaRusso and his
Miyagi-Do.
Miyagi-Do, yeah. 28 different story missions. Ralph Macchio, William Zabka actually voice their characters. You can play on either team, and if you go through and beat the campaign, because I guess there's a full campaign for each side, you get a true ending at the very, very end. So,
David, I don't care about the game.
Did you watch the show yet?
What I want to mention is that if you not have seen Cobra Kai, fucking watch Cobra Kai. It's a better Karate Kid than Karate Kid.
Did you finally watch it?
I've watched the first season. I haven't finished it. I've been stuck on that first season. I haven't watched the second season yet.
Damn it, dude.
The third season is coming.
I keep telling you, you got to finish that second season.
I watched. So when Cobra Kai came out, the first season, I had like really bad strep throat, and I was just like I don't get sick all that often, but when I get strep, it knocks me out for like a week straight because I still have like my tonsils.
So you said screw it, YouTube Red Trial, and then binged it?
I didn't even YouTube Red Trial. I used other methods I don't want to talk about here.
Yeah. So you used a YouTube Red Trial and you binged it.
I used a YouTube Red Trial. And I binged both Cobra Kai. I watched all that in one sitting, which I realized I would have done even if I wasn't sick because it was so good. And I also watched the first season of The Terror, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, goddamn, Cobra Kai is good. Watch Cobra Kai.
Keep going on the second season, dude. There's a fight scene at the end of the second season that is just, it's fantastic. The choreography alone probably took like weeks. It's great.
If you're comparing it to the Daredevil season 1 one-shot fight,
the hallway fight,
yeah, is it that good, or is it like, or is it good for Cobra Kai?
No, dude. For hype levels, I honestly put it near that hallway fight.
Okay,
it is not a single shot. because there's a lot going on.
Okay.
There's a lot going on, but it is pretty damn cool.
So more like Kingsman church fight.
I guess you could put it that way.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's in that wheelhouse though. It's really well done.
All right.
Surprisingly well done if you consider like the source material and probably the budget that went into it.
I know we've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but I will say there is no fucking reason why Cobra Kai, the show, should be as good as it is. None.
Oh man. Anyway, we're talking about video games, not Cobra Kai.
Fuck
which
you.
Does have
it's
a
Cobra
video game.
Kai podcast from now on.
Anyway, Pacer hits PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I can't even get back into this. Fuck. Pacer's a video game that you can play this week. PS4, Xbox One, PC. This is my favorite new term, a wipeout-like. Because fuck it.
Okay.
All games should be compared to other video games. I tell you, it's a wipeout-like, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know exactly what it is.
Fast-paced, sci-fi racing. I can use Wipeout because Nintendo decided F-Zero can go fuck itself. So while things could be an F-Zero-like, they haven't had a game in like 18 years. So
well, hold on. Now I gotta ask: is this more F-Zero or is this more Wipeout?
No, it is definitely more Wipeout.
Okay, because those are two different, slightly different genres, but they are different genres.
No, they have a different aesthetic. I'm just making fun of the fact that I can't get a F-Zero game to save my life.
Yeah, you're never going to. I'll never get a new Star Fox. Don't feel bad.
Yep. Watchdog Legions comes out this week. Some people are excited about this, right? PS4, Xbox One, PC. Keep in mind that this is an Epic release on PC because Ubisoft likes that extra 20% cut.
It's enough.
It is hell of enough, and as we've been aware, it doesn't actually affect sales in any way for these people. So
no,
why not? This is the bigger Watch Dogs game. So obviously 1 and 2 happened. This is you working to build resistance. To try and take down, evildoers in the near future London. This is the game that we thought was going to be very interesting going forward because supposedly you can recruit anyone in the game, and we were trying desperately to find out how that system was going to work. We've seen little peeks at it, but it seems like everybody is some kind of hacker or spy, and I think that's just how they fixed it.
Yeah, I want to play
every damn old lady on the street is like a former assassin.
I think we were thinking that there'd probably be maybe 20 different archetypes of people, and they just kind of scramble them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like bits of this one will be in that one. I wonder how many hours of gameplay you'll get into this before you start seeing repeating personalities and repeating voiceover. That's the main reason why I want to play this. Not because I'm necessarily hyped for it, but because I want to pick it apart.
Yep. You just want to see how deep they went with that system, and hopefully there's a lot, right?
I do want to play this, though. I might play this on stream. I haven't made up my mind on it yet.
All right. Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope comes out for PS4, Xbox One, PC. This is a survival horror game, multiple endings, trapped and isolated in the abandoned town of Little Hope. 4 college students and their teacher must escape the nightmarish apparitions that relentlessly pursue them through an impenetrable fog.
I am very hyped for this. This is essentially from Supermassive Games. These are the guys that did Until Dawn and most recently Man of Medan, of which is part of the Dark Pictures anthology. I love this idea of the Twilight Zone Night Gallery style presentation to these. Both these games, both Little Hope and Man of Medan, will have the curator character. He's kind of like your Rod Serling-esque figure that leads you into the world, and he kind of narrates in the background, and it gives everything a somewhat shared universe.
Man of Medan is the game that had those cool things where if you're not actually talking to the person you're playing with, you could accidentally betray each other because you show up as a monster on their game or some crazy shit, right?
Yeah,
they've done some cool stuff with horror.
They've done some good multiplayer stuff. They also did just the straight up couch co-op thing where it's just like, okay, everyone play a character, you'll control this character, this one pass the controller to someone else. I really like what they have done with this. While Man of Medan was not nearly as good or big budget as Until Dawn, I like their idea of smaller games released quicker, and I really want Little Hope to succeed because they said they had 10 stories planned out originally, which is very ambitious, and I don't think Man of Medan sold well enough to justify it going too much longer. So Little Hope really needs to knock it out of the park for them to keep going on with this idea, because I love the idea of these. Every 9 months we get a new horror anthology.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Also out this week, Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2. Did you ever play those games?
They're actually good.
There's a deluxe edition.
Fucking hard, but they're good.
There's a deluxe edition coming out for Switch, PC, and Mac. This is an action-adventure side-scrolling game that...
it's like an old Nintendo game.
I was gonna say it's an old. I almost want to say it's like a Mega Man like, because I just like fucking being an asshole now ever since that Dark Souls thing happened and comparing every video game to every other video game. But it's not quite that. But if you think 2D action platformer, you got an idea, right? You know what I'm talking about. We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Legends of Eternal.
I hate this name.
Ether is a word.
They combined ethereal and eternal.
Right? Because ethereal's a word.
Yeah.
Eternal's a word.
Yes.
Eternal
is not a word.
Sounds like someone trying to say either of those words unsuccessfully. But you can play it. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. Story-rich, action-adventure, 2D, single-player game where you're exploring beautiful handcrafted environments, solving puzzles, and battling creatures to discover the truth about your parents' disappearance. Despite its horrible name, it actually does look kind of stylish. It might be interesting, but I can't get over how bad the name is. Mad Rat Dead hits PS4 and Switch this week. This is elements of action platformers and rhythm games with a cartoon punk art style. This crazy caper has you guiding a newly resurrected rat in his quest for vengeance. Basically, you're playing time with the music. So, did you ever get a chance to play BPM?
Yes, I streamed it actually. I finished it. It was a really good game.
Oh yeah, I like that game a lot.
I will say I cheated. I tried doing the timer. I couldn't get into it, so I had to actually turn the auto assist on that. I could not fucking time my shots right.
Okay, so maybe you need me to stream it so you can see how to actually play that video game.
Hey, I played it. I finished it with baby ass baby mode on it, but I finished it.
Yeah, I played it in real ass Valkyrie mode.
that game is something. That game is something else. I knew it was a good game, but I could not. I was not going to let my lack of a skill keep me from enjoying that game.
I was so hyped for that game to come out that I bought it as soon as it did. There's actually another rhythm shooter that's coming out at some point in a similar vein, but with all heavy metal music that I'm excited for. Okay. But Mad Rat Dead has that same mechanic, right, where there's a time bar on the bottom, and except for it's like your heart, and your character's heart is exposed, which is kind of funny. But it's, instead of being a first-person shooter, it's a side-scrolling action platformer.
Okay, so this all stems from the Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Basically, yeah. So you're jumping on the beat, you're attacking enemies on the beat, you're dodging on the beat, that whole kind of thing.
This sounds a little cliche, but Crypt of the Necrodancer, by the way, it plays amazing if you sync it up to Dark Side of the Moon, because you can import your own soundtracks into it. And just for shits and giggles, I put in Dark Side. It was really fucking good.
That's funny. Yeah, I just play that game on Switch. It's a good Switch sitting on a bus game.
It is.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe comes out on Switch this week. I legitimately didn't write any notes because this is a Wii U port. It's one of the last remaining Wii U holdouts, right? The Pikmin games I know a lot of people like. They're, to me, very Lemmingsy, and I know there's a little bit more going on, but it's, I don't know, man. You're growing these little flower dudes, and you're having them do tasks, and you get a whole bunch of them, and they do stuff for you, and people like it.
I am picking this up because I did not have a Wii U, so you can port every single Wii U game imaginable over to the Switch, and I will buy it.
I mean, that's fair. I don't have any reason to play Pikmin.
Yeah, it's not you. I've always liked Pikmin.
Last but not least, something else you might be excited about: Visage. Visage. Thank you. It's like a corsage, but a visage. PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah, just like that.
This game's been in early access.
Tell people that.
I'm going to put it on a business card. This game has been on early access on Steam since I think May of this year. So a lot of people have already kind of played some of it, but it's out of early access, full release, PS4, Xbox One, PC, psychological horror game, first-person horror game, exploring a mysterious, ever-changing house in a slow-paced, atmospheric world that combines both uncannily comforting and horrifyingly realistic environments, and a genuinely terrifying experience. Looking at some of the early access reviews, I think this game is legitimately scary.
Yeah, I was looking at it as well. I was like, damn, this looks really good, actually.
It's got the classic, like, really spooky atmosphere. There's creepy little girls. It looks like there's plenty of jump scares. And from what I've read, the sound design and sound direction of this game make it completely terrifying if you're trying to play it with headphones on in the dark.
Yeah, I might have to get this. I was looking for some good horror games this week. We got this. We have Little Hope. We have Amnesia, which I got sitting in a file somewhere. I might have to do some of this. This looks good. I would expect it's like so many of these games, it only lasts maybe 3 to 4 hours. I could probably do it in one stream session, but I'm looking forward to that.
But it's supposed to be spooky, so there you go.
David, that does it for new releases, which means that also does it for the show as well. This has been Game Points episode 283, and thank you all for showing up and watching.
83?
What was that?
38?
Oh, I said 283. I meant 238. I'm sorry. 238. If you like what you saw here and you want to support the stream, you all know what to do. Follows, notifications on, bits, subscribes, all that good stuff. We do stream the podcast live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here at twitch.tv/GamePoints. But if you can't watch the show live, do so over at youtube.com/GamePointsPC. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC, myself, Stephen Brown at CapitalistBig21, and David there at PalSlife_Satori. I'll be back this week with regular streaming on Wednesday and Thursday with some horror games of some kind. Maybe Visage. Who knows? We'll see. Or I might play more Parts of Iron because I've been a bitch for that game lately. Thank you all for showing up. This has been Game Points. And until next time, we're out of here.